Good morning.
Good morning.
Buenos dias. Please rise in body or spirit and join us in hymn number 149. Lift every voice and sing in your gray hymnal. We'll take a minute for people to get settled here. Welcome. Bienvenido. My name is Lori Douglas. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am wearing an orange and black and white top with leaves on it, I think. I am honored to be your worship associate for this service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Charlotte County. Each week we gather together by singing an invitation, even as we are scattered in many different places, and whether we are in person here or virtually. I'd like to mention a few items that will help this service run smoothly. We're being broadcast on YouTube and will be available as a recording on the UUFCC YouTube channel after the service. Consequently, for privacy concerns, it is our practice to use first names and last initials where needed. This is a good time to put your phones in meditation mode. For those of us virtually, perhaps watching in your pajamas, you may wish to have a chalice or candle available for our chalice lighting ritual. Finally, I'm thankful for all of the dedicated people who make this service and community possible. Please raise your hand if you decorated, cleaned, weeded, or did anything to make this sacred space and its surrounds a delight to behold. Who's here? Decorating? There we go. Look around, see the people. Yay. All right. Please raise your hand if you worked on the preparation or presentation of our service, from music to tech to administration, to planning, to working on the budget, to copying the order of service. Please raise your hand if you're part of that crew. All right. Look at the people helping us. Yay. All right. If you brought food today, or you'll be eating food, if you're moving furniture, if you're cleaning up, or will join in singing a song, raise your hand, please. All right. Whoa, picking up here. All right. And eating food got it, I think, yeah. If you've greeted someone new today, if you moved furniture, if you've appreciated our artwork over here, and or will you contribute to the collection today? Raise your hand. If you made the effort to come to the service today, whether in person or virtually, to make up this vibrant community, raise your hand. Hey, all right. All right. If you are new here, or returning from some time away, or you're getting ready to say bon voyage for a while, please stand or wave in body or spirit and state your first names and where you're from so that we can welcome you. Is Tom going to come around? There we go. Okay. Here he comes. He's coming around with the microphone, so hang on for a minute so everybody can hear. Here we go.
Good morning. My name is Mary Beth. I'm from New Jersey, but I currently live in Port Charlotte with my sister.
Okay.
I'm the sister. I'm Sue. I grew up in New Jersey with Mary Beth, but lived in upstate New York in Ithaca, and now I'm in Port Charlotte, not far from here, and she's not my sister.
Hi, I'm Deb, and I invited them to come today. My cousin John on the end. I currently live in Port Charlotte. I was actually born in Florida, but I spent 40 years in New England, and now I'm back here as a retiree.
Welcome. Anyone else?
Thank you. I'm Marilyn Bohm, and I was here what seems like ages ago, but it was like 7 years, and I'm now returned.
Yay, Marilyn. Anyone else? All right. Welcome. If you haven't already, please take the opportunity to meet with one of our members or friends following the service. If you're new at home, you can wave to us too. And if you would like to learn more about our fellowship, you can email or drop in and see Anna or Sandy at the office. And their connection is office@uufcc.org. And you can also visit our website, which has got all kind of cool stuff on it. Wherever you are, we're glad you've chosen to be with us today. We'll now have a prelude by Margaret G., a traditional Jewish piece. Thank you, Margaret. It's always such a treat to have you playing the harp. Wow. As we move to our chalice lighting, let us note that this is the time of Passover, an important holiday for the Jewish faith. Our chalice lighting words today are inspired by the work of Dillman Baker Sorrells. For holy days on which we recall the old stories, we light the flame. For Passover, for Stonewall, for Black Lives Matter, which reminds us of the courage and strength of those seeking freedom in the past and recent past, we light the flame. For Easter, which reminds us that love is our greatest challenge, we light the flame. For gathering today in this sacred space, lifting up those in Gaza and Ukraine and those on turmoil throughout the world, we light the flame. For the opportunity to be together as a community, to remember the past, to plan for our future, and to be alive and resist in our present, we light the flame. Now, while Patrick comes up and lights our chalice here in the sanctuary, and those of you at home light your chalices, please join me in reciting our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our aspiration, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. Please stand as you are able and join us in singing number 1015 in the Teal book. The song is called I Know You Can. I Know I Can.
No days without the storms, and burdens weigh along. The troubles laid at every turn, I know I will go on. The sorrow leaves my
Our opening words today are by Erica Hewitt. They were inspired by Reverend Elizabeth Nguyen's chapter, Our Work for Social Justice. in the Unitarian Universalist Pocket Guide, which actually most every member that comes in gets the Unitarian Universalist Pocket Guide. It's got a lot of wonderful things in it. To be a Unitarian Universalist means we'll never be done with the work of telling the truth about oppression, the work of resisting any laws, policies, or practices that deny anyone their humanity. The work of stubbornly seeking out the spark of the divine in each other, no matter what the work of creating heaven on earth. To be a Unitarian Universalist also means you're not alone in the work. We are not alone because of our promises to love one another. We are not alone because we are companions on the journey. Look around for a minute and see who's on the journey with you. Take a look. Other folks here. There you go. We grow ourselves into allies, helping one another get free, because none of us is truly free until we are all free. It's now time for our Book of Life in Stones. We have a long tradition here at UUFCC of sharing our joys, sorrows, and life milestones by entering them into the Book of Life, which hopefully Robert is going to bring up. Thanks, Robert. These messages can be written in the Red Book, which lives in the back of the sanctuary and will arrive in the hands of this kind man. Thanks a lot. Those at home are welcome to email your entries into the Book of Life at uufcc.org by the Saturday before the ceremony. Aha. We've moved to being live. We also embrace the tradition of dropping stones in the bowl over here. The water symbolizes the community, and the stones represent your joy or sorrows or milestones. I will first read the entries in the Book of Life, which are not there. I now invite you, should you choose, to come forward and drop a stone either in silence or share briefly aloud. You can come and be along the wall here with Joseph. There'll be time for announcements later in the service.
Good morning, everyone. Hi,
morning.
Joseph here. So glad to be here this morning. The word for today is gratitude for me. And some things that I want to share with you that I'm grateful for is Margaret G. Unbelievable, wonderful. The song we sang today, I Know I Can. I never heard that song before. It was introduced to me for the first time. I appreciate you. Thank you. That's so important. The other thing that I'm grateful for is Richard Patrick, who's going to be our speaker today. Wonderful, intelligent, vibrant, energetic, creative person. I'm thankful to be in his presence. I'm thankful that he's going to speak to us today. And I'm thankful for this arrangement. Look at this beautiful arrangement. Who put this together? The decorating committee. Isn't this gorgeous? This is a beautiful flower arrangement. So my heart's full of gratitude today for you and all the people that make this a wonderful fellowship. Thank you.
I just wanted to put a stone in today because all of us, I'm sure, are thinking about Sharon, and she's in our hearts.
Hello, my name is Carlos. On April 10th was my sister's birthday. And today is Palm Sunday, right? So her name is Palmira. In honor, she was born on Palm Sunday. Right now, she's dealing with a little bit of dementia up in Wyckoff, New Jersey, in a facility. She's been taken good care of. I spoke with her, and she's vibrant, and she's holding up pretty good. So One of the things that we used to do on Palm Sunday, we grew up Episcopalian, and we used to love to get the palms and do the little crosses and all that, and all kinds of shape. So, because it was a big thing in our house, because she was born on Palm Sunday. So, this is for my sister.
Nice.
I have a joy. Peggy Don said that now I'm president, I have to stop making a fool of myself. But last week, I took Peggy Don down to the doctor in South Fort Myers. And so I let her out of the car, and she goes into the waiting room. I parked the car, and I come in, and there's two guys sitting in the chairs there, and you count 3 chairs, and there's Peggy Don. So as I'm walking by, this guy has a shirt on, he has a tag out.
Oh, no!
I leaned down, I told him, sir, I said, I'm from the International Tag Police, and your tag is out in the back of your shirt. And at first he looked at me, and jerking around, and so I went over and sat down beside Peggy Don, and Peggy Don said to me, some people think you're crazy. And I said, so? And so then, the next thing I know, now it was like a father and a son, I think, but I'm not sure. But anyway, the younger guy, next thing I know, he pulls out this pocket knife, and he has about a 4-inch blade on it.
Oh.
And so, I looked at it, okay, But then he takes the tag and cuts the tag out of his dad's shirt.
Wow.
So, what's your tags?
So I have a joy today, but before I say it, I just want to respond to Peggy Don calling Robert crazy. You married him. So I have a joy today. Thanks to my boss at work, I get to join the EV club because I am buying his hybrid. It's a Subaru.
Wow.
2016, so I'm super excited. I've test drove it. It is already a little weird for it to be cutting off when I get to a stoplight, but I'll deal with it. Go green!
Wonderful. I have a couple of stones here, handful, I think. One is for Jamie, who is not with us today in the choir, and who is not feeling well and serious. I hope not too serious, hope he'll be fine. And we'll get good news from Margaret. Next, good news, Jackie got her stitches out yesterday, and she's in Ohio with her sister and doing much better and feeling good. Thank you for your support with that. Hold that thought. One more. Oh, one more. Okay. Yes.
I was going to hold it till next week, but I may not be here next week. Today is Sunday. Looks like it's going to be that way the rest of the day. Glad I am with you. Tomorrow's Monday. Monday. Looks like it's going to be that way all day. Hope I'll be with you. And then on Friday, I'll be 80 years old. And so glad to be with you.
You never know what's going to happen up here. It's kind of exciting. That last stone that is placed represents the unspoken joys and sorrows in our hearts. May we hold these and each other in love and tenderness, so that this fellowship may be a source of strength and courage and hope in the days and weeks ahead. Let us take a few moments of silent reflection, followed by meditative music with Margaret. It's going to be hard to follow, Richard. It's now my pleasure to introduce Richard Patrick, Vice President of Charlotte County Branch NAACP and Chair of the Political Action Committee. He's also the founding and managing partner of several law firms, the past president and current board member of the local Charlotte Harbor LULAC Council. He's the member of the Democratic Executive Committee and chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee of Charlotte County Democratic Party. Richard is also the former chair and member of the Virginia Advisory Committee to the U.S. Civil Rights Commission. And he has about page longer of wonderful things that he does and he's still doing. Pretty incredible. Richard, will you come join us here?
Good morning. You know, it's always good to be here. I remembered when I was trying to get the local branch of the NAACP restarted. I went a lot of churches. I went a lot of places where people didn't know me, didn't know who I was. But I still recall, I came here, must have been about 4 years ago, unannounced, not knowing anybody, and instantaneously walked through those doors. I felt welcome. And over the years, I've been coming back. You will see me ever so often. I'm a snowbird, so I'm here until, until May. But I still find the time, even if it's at least 2 times, I come through these doors because it is a place where I feel comfortable. It's good to be here among people whom I'm delighted to call friends, and in whose company I always find pleasure. To be here with you and to reflect and engage with you and to breathe in the words and kindness and spirituality cleanses the soul and invigorates the spirit. I'm the vice president of the Charlotte County branch of the NAACP, and I see the president, Connie Payne, in the back, and several other members here, Linda, Pat, Betty. But the views that I express here are totally mine, because in this environment, you want to have some separation between what you say and those organizations that you care about, lest you hear that in the dead of the night. In response to Lori's request of what are you going to talk about, and I sat down and I gave this, I think I sent her this kind of scholarly stuff. Then I began to look at the headlines in the New York Times and the Washington Post and some other national media. And I became so angry at the circumstances in which we find ourselves. Having to push back, resist, fight against things that we thought were settled decades ago. Now, we are now in a topsy-turvy world, and people are shying away from this DEI, diversity and inclusion, equity and inclusion. I refuse to follow that crowd into believing that there's no longer a place for this, or believing somehow that mentioning these words somehow confines you to a position of inferiority. Let's just go through what the opponents think about diversity, equity, and inclusion. We live in a world where the perversion has occurred, where instead of embracing the diversity, we look across and you see the multitudes of people who have made this country great, all stretching all across races, colors, sexuality. But those opponents say, diversity, what is that? You're being diverse, somehow you're weakening us. What utter nonsense. Equality. How can anyone be against equality? Think about it. They say that when you push for equality, somehow you're promoting discrimination against somebody else. How absurd can we be? Inclusion. When have we ever not been inclusive? But this is a battle cry by those who have unleashed a sophisticated media barrage into somehow leading their followers to think that when you say DEI, that somehow it's some perverted language. And unfortunately, lots of people have fallen for it, with the consequences that we are now seeing with this blizzard of executive orders. What is DEI? DEI is not what those opponents say, so let me try to define it for you from the perspective of somebody who will not be afraid to say what it is, what it means, and why we should stand for it. The efforts for diversity causes us to be great, to be powerful. We stand together. That unity inspires in all of us this feeling that we can achieve many things. In this current environment, this administration, and I try not to get political, but it is very difficult not to. Here's why. There are some over 50 executive orders that this administration has put in place. When you look at them and you focus on DEI, what has he done? He has prohibited DEI now in the military, government agencies, government departments. He's told law firms, shut up, get rid of your DEI programs, plus give me $100 million, otherwise we're going to target you. He's told states, Maine, you talk about rights of the LGBTQ plus community, we're going to come after you, we're going to cut your funds. So we have a situation here where perceived wrongs or perceived slights by the executive officer of this country have become the calling card to air his grievances, threaten our stability, and frighten us into believing that if we talk about DEI, that somehow we're doing something wrong. The history of DEI goes way back in the Constitution. The preamble, what does it say? To create a more perfect union. But we must acknowledge that when it was written, that perfect union didn't include everybody, right? So for those of us who are left outside peering in, what did we have to do? We had to struggle, we had to fight for our seat at the table. And the underpinnings of DEI started from there. We progressed through the 1940s, the 1950s, desegregation in the Army, the EEOC, Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act. All these are things that pertain to DEI, because what does it do? It creates for us that bond of equality, giving us a seat at the table to help us craft this vision of a more perfect union. Because as we go forward, we are still in the transitional period of trying to create this environment where we can all look at each other and say, you're my brother, you're my sister, be not afraid, let's travel the road together. But in here, that's a sentiment that I can totally grasp. Out there are those who say, you talk about DEI, and I'm going to come get you. We have traveled this road towards significant progress for women, for minorities, and for non-heterosexuals. And every time we take a step forward, we take 2 steps forwards, this is what we call pushback. So what is the form of the pushback? We remember President Reagan's what? Welfare queen, right? Remember George Bush the Elder's Willie Horton ad. And remember that infamous senator from North Carolina, Senator Jesse Helms, and his famous ad. The white hands of a male, crumpled piece of paper in the trash bin, signifying that your job was just taken by some unqualified person because of DEI. It is a sophisticated machinery that, alas, has penetrated the very roots of our society and have led people to believe that when you talk about DEI, that it is somehow some form of discrimination. Which brings me to the current environment. And as I was preparing for this, I had a laundry list of these executive orders. And my wife said to me, oh, too long. So, here are just some of them. Prohibits teaching so-called ideologies that promote systemic racism and gender ideology. Abolishes DEI programs in the military. Targets educational institutions that receive federal funds from engaging in DEI programs. Removing from the Naval Academy, this was astounding, books that talk about anything to do with the progression of race and tolerance in this country. Utilizing the commissions, the Department of Justice, to go after entities that have DEI programs. Again, I want to get political, but it seems to me that there was one of the parties that used to say not a long time ago, leave private industry alone. Private industry can craft whatever it wants to promote harmony with whatever methodologies it desires. Now, in this current environment, what do we have? Get rid of your DEI programs or else. And who has fallen down? You have the Targets of this world. You have the Walmarts, right? You have the Amazons. The lone standout, Costco, have said to them, we believe in DEI. We believe that DEI encompasses all the things that we believe in. So leave me alone. I will push forward on that. And it is not by accident that at every turn, those of us who favor perfecting this union have met with resistance, hostility, and antagonism by the opponents of DEI. Their intent is to smash us, discourage us, threaten us, so that we give in. But as strong believers in principles and independence of DEI, we say resist, defy, agitate, and battle with every fiber of our body. Because if you strongly believe in something, you ought to fight for it. On the other side, they're building these barriers that seek to prevent us from achieving that more perfect union. I practiced law for 40 years, still do a little bit of it. But there was a time when the Civil Rights Department of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice was one of those agencies that went into the South protecting the voting rights of everybody. When the EEOC used to stand for enforcing discrimination. Now what has happened? The world has been turned on its head. The acting commissioner of the EEOC has said, you law firms, you entities that have DEI programs, what is it? You are engaging in discrimination. Think about that for a moment. How is it possible that an agency whose sole task is to prevent discrimination suddenly says to an organization or organizations that are trying to promote this perfect union that you're somehow discriminating against it? The picture is terrifying. I read the EEOC commissioner's statement to law firms. These are law firms that, mind you, are some of the most preeminent law firms in the country. Ones that, if you had a problem, you'd go to them because you knew that they would protect you and that they would fight tooth and nail for whatever it is that you're trying to defend. What has happened under this administration? 10 law firms or more, biggest law firms, 1,000 lawyers, have said, Mr. President, where can I sign? I will stop my DEI programs. I will stop being progressive. Oh, and by the way, you have these conservative causes. I will give you $100 million in free legal services. So what do we have? We have about 15 law firms who have pledged almost more than $500 million in pro bono legal services to support the president, his friends and his allies in the causes that he believes in. And I stood at a courthouse, a lot of courthouses in Virginia and other places. There were individuals who were standing accused of serious crimes. They couldn't even find a lawyer to take their case. Why? They had no money. And what do we have here now? The biggest law firms in the country saying to Mr. President, where can I sign to give you $100 million? Think about it. Wrap your head around this figure. $100 million in free legal services. So what happens 4 years from now? Hopefully no third term, right? When he comes and says, oh, I'm being sued. All these major law firms, what are they going to do? They're going to say, oh, I owe you some money. I owe you $500 billion. You can do whatever you want, and we'll put our thousands of lawyers at your disposal. For my brethren in the legal arena, I'm truly, truly disappointed, and each one of us should be disappointed. But don't despair. Out of this opposition, there are three pillars that stand in the breach, ready to fight. 1, federal courts. 2, churches like yours. And then finally, we the people. Federal courts. You recall the era of the civil rights movement, when federal judges in the South were under attack, much like those judges here who are striking down these executive orders. I recall, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, when President Biden's executive orders were being stricken down, and there was cheering on the other side. They were saying, yes, these federal judges, what wonderful men and women they are. What, is it 4 months later? Impeach them, these left-wing activist judges who are standing in opposition to everything that the president wants. Get rid of them, impeach them. How quickly things change. That's why when you have a moral and ethical code, you ought to stick by it. Because when you swing with the wind, what will happen is exactly what's happening to some in a particular party. That it was fine, strike down President Biden's executive orders promoting harmony, DEI. Now the shoe is on the other foot. Those left-wing judges got to go. But thank goodness for Article 3. Except for serious crimes, those judges are untouchable. The churches. Churches have always played a role or had a moral role to play in every fight that is worth fighting. And right now, the churches are one of those front lines. Your church, because of the fact that I'm here, being able to talk about this says something, because having been president of the Charlotte Harbor LULAC Council here, I know of at least one church where they have discontinued services, a Latino church, have discontinued services because they fear that someone might be breaking down that door to come in looking for undocumented immigrants. So I applaud you, I applaud churches, because you act from a position of strength, braced with moral fiber. And it's no easy thing when people are attacking you for you to say, never mind, I will continue to do as I'm doing. And finally, we the people. While others are caving, remember, we're the ones. We must agitate. We must vote. We should resist. And above all, we must continue to do the things that are necessary to show that this journey toward this more perfect union is still ongoing. And the expressions of support engendered by all of you as part of this continuum of fighting against tyranny is a shining light. It's no small feat, because once you create an atmosphere of fear, nobody wants to stick his head up. And the example is, you would think that big law firms with talent and ability to get into courts and fight and battle would say, Mr. President, you want to fight? Let's fight. But they ducked their heads down, ran, and pulled out their checkbooks. But you, the churches, have held that firm line, whether it's finding a place for the undocumented, giving us moral support, knowing that when we come here on Sundays or whatever day of the week that we come, that we will have that courage to stand up and speak out against those things that we hold dear. We must say strongly, loudly, and unabashedly that the struggle for equality and inclusion is not discrimination against anyone or anything, but ours is a struggle based on moral code backed by decency and our inherent right to choose our own path consistent with the rights guaranteed in the Constitution. And no one, let me bold and underscore that, no one has the right to deny us that choice. And we should and we must be prepared to fight for that vision day after day, night after night, even to the point of risking our lives. For be ye unafraid, for I am thy rod, thy staff, and thy shield. Let those words be our guiding light as we protect those things that we hold dear, and as we hold our heads up high, even as traitors and authoritarians are at the gate. For with your strength, with your courage, and with your encouragement, we should not shirk from our responsibility of telling everyone that DEI is not an acronym for a bad word. And if we are ever going to reach the point where we really get to creating that perfect union, that we ought to stand firm, we ought to hold the line, we ought to join with others, we ought to push back. And even though we may seem now to be in a time of utter turbulence, this is the time to stand up and be counted. This is the time to say to those in power who believe somehow that with a stroke of a pen, or with the yelling of a word, or with the sicking of some media giant, that they can cause us to crumble. But the fact that I'm standing here in your presence gives me the kind of encouragement that we all need, knowing full well that as we pursue what we believe in, and that as we fight for those who are downtrodden and for those who need our help, that together we provide that bulwark against someone who will seek to destroy the very things that we hold dear. And for that, and to all of you, I'm gratefully thankful. And I look forward to working with you in whatever endeavors I can to make sure that you continue doing what you're doing, and that you possess all of the strength to continue doing it, and that you keep your doors open and your message loud and clear so that it can be a sounding board and it can be a place where those who are under oppression can seek your help, your assistance, and your comfort. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard, for that inspiring and important and vital message. Thank you. Now, we will have our offering. In our tradition, congregations exist because of the generous support of our members and friends. It is our privilege and our responsibility to ensure the health and future of this fellowship. And we heard that so strongly today. Thank you, Richard, for that. To this end, your offerings support our ministry, whether by pledge or donation. It may be offered online. If you haven't pledged before, and this community brings you inspiration, solace, or as an oasis during these times, as it is for me, consider doing so. There's several ways you can give. Drop your donation in the baskets that are being passed around. You can mail checks to the office, drop them in the mailbox, or make other arrangements. We're also equipped to accept donations at UUFCC offering on Venmo. Your generosity is always appreciated. And if you're here with us for the first time, do not feel obligated to give. Your presence is our gift. Now, I'd like to have Margaret come and introduce our next piece of music.
Our offering song is that the choir is going to sing is Oseh Shalom, which we're doing in honor of Passover, and it's basically peace in Israel. At the end, there's a part where it's lie, 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 and we ask you to join us on that. It's a very joyous part of that song, and in the synagogue, it's danced too. So if you want to get up and dance, that would be appropriate too. Thank you.
Shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom leinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yavei tevei, ve'ru, amen. Oh, say shalom bibroma, whom yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'el kol Yisrael, ve'el kol v'tevei, ve'ru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol v'tevei, ve'ru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol v'tevei, ve'ru, יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בית ברוח אמן. עושה שלום בזרמה הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בית ברוח אמן.
That was great, wasn't it? Yes. All right. Now it is time to highlight UUFCC's special events and activities. Yeah, and to catch my folder falls on the floor. Okay. Please remember to check your weekly UUFCC updates, which are a great resource, including dates and details for opportunities you may enjoy. If you're not getting them, please contact Sandy or Anna in the office, because it's a fun thing to have. If you aren't getting the updates, please make sure that you fill out the form at the welcome desk. Also, make sure that you regularly visit our constantly updated website. Thanks to our web weavers, this person over here that never wants attention, but it does so much for us, and Laura A. Additionally, we would like to have, if you would like to have fellowship events highlighted during the service, you can email us at bookoflife@uufcc.org. Today, I have the following announcements. The first one is about the updates and other things. It is important to feel connected. If you would like to record the updates once a month for those that have visual difficulties, please see me after the service. Corey, you want to make your way up here? We got another announcement for you. And while he's coming up this way, I want to let you know today is the last day to vote for your favorite painting over here on the wall. It's $1 per vote. Let us know which one is speaking to you. Thank you.
Hello all. Hope you're all well. I just wanted to make an announcement. This is more directed to service people that help put things together. You all know that we had a problem with the emails that our great administrator has fixed. And during that time, I had directed some of you to email me or Tom privately. That time is now over. So if you need anything service-wise, please email directors@uufcc.org, not my, Tom's, or Doug's personal email. That way we all get it and not just one person. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Corey. Thanks, Corey. Any other announcements? All right. Our closing words are Be About the Work by Andrea Hawkins Camper. May we see all as it is, and may it all be as we see it. May we be the ones to make it as it should be. For if not us, who? If not now, when? This is answering the cry of justice with the work of peace. This is redeeming the pain of history with the grace of wisdom. This is the work we are called to do, and this is the call we answer now. Please repeat after me. To be the barrier and the bridge. to be the barrier and the bridge, to be the living embodiment of our principles, to be the living embodiment of our principles, to be about the work of building the beloved community, to be about the work of building the beloved community, to be a people of intention and a people of conscience, to be a people of intention and a people of conscience. Please join me now as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of hope, the fire of commitment, or the warmth of community. May those ideals warm our hearts until we are together again. Go now in peace. Please stand as you are able and join us in hymn number 14 in the gray hymnal. 415, thank you. In the gray hymnal, it's Havanu Shalom Aleichem.
Havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom, shalom, shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom. Shalom, shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom, shalom, shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem, havenu shalom aleichem. Shalom, shalom, shalom aleichem.